Okay, let's start that over again. Hi, everybody. I am Nicholas. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We have a great group of people. Jim, I love your background there. Is that virtual or is that for real?
It's virtual. I'm sitting at home, but that's part of the studio.
Yep, cool. Well, thank you everyone for taking their time out of their busy Wednesday to join us. We have a new feature today, which I am really excited to share with you. It is the first of many updates that you're going to be seeing over the next few months. Actually, it's not the first, it's one of because every week we are seeming to drop something new up. But we used to have what was called a simple flow, which was sort of our original MVP, which when we released the advanced template editor, it started to create some confusion about simple events and advanced events. Today, we're releasing something that's really exciting, and that's bringing the simple mode that we used to have to the flow stage. So without blabbing too much more, let me go ahead and do a screen share. Let me get my screens organized real quickly. And then let's make this happen. Okay, pop over here. And let me go ahead and hop into our dashboard. So just a little bit of housekeeping. I am one person running the webinar. So if I don't see your messages in the chat right away, I apologize. I do like to think of these as creative sessions. So feel free to just turn on your microphone and blurt out if you have a question. If something is confusing to you, it's likely confusing to someone else on the call. So please speak up. If I can't answer it right in that moment, I will kindly say, please bring this back up during the Q&A section, or I will dive right in or re-show you, etc. So as we go into this, some of you may recall when you went into your filter stage, there was this button for simple only. This is going to be going away. Any events that were made in simple mode will continue to work, but you will not be able to create new events in simple mode because we've moved that into this new system. So let me show you. Let's go ahead and create a new event here. I'm going to call this simple mode example. And just like any other event, you'd be able to put in your client name if you like, or your project name, start date, end date. So let me go ahead and create that event. And everything is going to look exactly like you'd expect it in a Pictor event. Once again, we have new UX UI coming. It's so exciting. I can't wait for everyone to see it. If you have feedback on the old UX UI, now is the time to share that with us. Well, not right now, but please do let us know in the support channels. I'm going to go into our flow area. So our events are created using what we like to call flow stages. If you think about this linearly from like the start of a guest walks up to the photo booth, and then the end is when the guest walks away from the photo booth. Something that's unique to our software is that we don't tie you into a specific linear pattern. You can actually move things around. So right now, I could have, for example, terms of service at the top, or if I wanted, that could be the last thing that people do. So just a quick example of how simple it is to move things around in the flow stages. Today, we're going to be looking at the choose experience stage. So I'm going to move that to the top. And for anyone who's been to other show and tells or has been using the software, this is the big reveal of what's different. So, whoops, I meant to move that there. So let's go into here. And this is the big reveal of what is different. And that is quite simply these two little toggles here. So simple mode used to be its own type of event. We've combined them now. So template editor is what we've been showing you here for the past several weeks, several show and tells, and that gives us the ability to go in and create this really intense experience, right? So we have different so let me move this Zoom feature out of the way. We have different types of canvases here, different ratios, etc. You can add text, you can add images, you can add video, you can add audio even. effects, layers, all of that stuff. The feedback we got from a lot of people was, this is amazing when I have a very complex event. Sorry, it's allergy season here in New York City, so I'm going to have scratchy throat action going. So a lot of the feedback that we got was, this is amazing when we have a really, really cool event with lots of customizations, but also we also just have a lot of these simple private events where we just need to throw an overlay over the top of it and call it a day. So hopping into simple mode over here, I'm going to toggle into that for the big reveal. And you'll see this is set up kind of the way you would imagine a user kind of clicking through things, an event guest user clicking through things. So when we think about designing software, we at Pictor have kind of two different types of customers, right? We have you, the photo booth company owner, and then we have your customers, and those are the people at the event. Luckily for you guys, Pictor is run by Outsnap, which is a photo booth company. I've spent so much time at events and I watch people interact with the interfaces. The things we thought were great ideas ended up not necessarily being, and we've gone and changed them. So one of our biggest goals, and something that I've learned through this software development process, is developing software is extremely expensive. So to develop something that is not going to get adoption doesn't make sense. So we really want to make sure that we're creating things for the users and putting our investment, time, energy, money into things that's going to make your life as a photo booth company easier and also the event guest experience better. So if you think about this as walking up to the photo booth, what options do you want to give your guests? Do you want them to have stills, GIFs, boomerangs, video, AI images, and AI video? Noting that in the template editor, you can do this all in one template. Here, we're kind of separating them out into a slightly more conventional photo booth software mentality. Sorry. Let me let someone into the room. There we go. So in this particular case here, let's just keep it very simple. We're going to go and add a still opportunity. And for that, we're going to go 1-1. I'm going to go over to one of my favorite photo booth template marketplaces, which is Cherie's Photo Booth Talk. And let's go in and just grab a square template. I've done this prior, so we don't have to do it on the call together, but I just went super simple and I went with this 80s throwback. So I've gone ahead and downloaded this as a square. I'm going to pop back over here. Oops. And now I'm going to upload my overlay. So one thing to note, I'm going to go into a previous event here just so you can see some different media. Because we're in 1-1, you're only able to select objects that are a ratio of 1-1. So for example, here, etc. This you wouldn't want to be an overlay because it has no blank spots, but this could be your overlay. I'm going to go ahead and change that and upload the one that we just looked at, which was the 80s vibe from Cherie. I'm going to go into a modal here. So I'm on my own desktop picking out a file, but you're going to see it upload in just a moment. My internet also has allergies, so that will upload in the background in a moment. For the sake of this, we're just going to go ahead and use this overlay here. Now I'm going to go through and save this. And I'm going to go to my simulation mode here. And simulation mode, for those of you who are new, is different than a few of our other opportunities, right? So you could try this on a photo booth directly by logging in the event code. You can also use this as a virtual booth. Simulator mode is going to load and look and feel like an iPad. So it's essentially the joke I always make is you don't have to go out to your car in the middle of the night and bring in an iPad or a photo booth to test this. Bear with me for a moment. I'm having really bad internet. So I'm going to try switching to my mobile device. And then if I get booted for a moment, I will be right back. And before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and make someone from the Pictor team a co-host just in case something wacky happens. Please hold one moment. Okay, am I back? Cool. Is this better?
So far.
Great.
I didn't even know you were gone.
Wonderful. Uh, our Verizon for the past few weeks has just been really clunky. But anyhow, in this mode, your guest would walk up, they would click photo, they would touch to start, they would take a photo, and now see themselves almost instantly with that overlay. Ta-da. Let's bounce back over here. And now I'm going to try my luck at my internet here. And oh, see, they did upload in the background. I'm going to select that 80s prompt. And now I'm going to also add in GIF and boomerang. And so I'm doing just these so you can see what these subtle differences change. I'm going to go over here. And now I have the option for photos, GIFs, and boomerang. So let's quickly do a boomerang. I don't know any 80s dance moves, but this would be the time to do them. And this is going to come up for us here in the preview. We'll pop back over there in a moment. The next thing we have is the ability to add video, AI images, and AI video. You'll see as I toggle these features on and off, we're getting different opportunities available below. So if we wanted to just offer AI image or AI video, we could do so, and we could go ahead and choose a single prompt or multiple prompts. We can do high res or low res, high video, medium video, low video. See if this is rendered. Yep, there it is. Here's my boomerang. And let's pop back over here and I can go ahead and save this again. And one thing I always like to point out, this was something that I thought would be so easy and so great for you as users. And I was right on that, but it was actually really difficult for us to build this on the back end. I don't want to tell you how much time and energy and money this cost us. But what the theory was is I, as a photo booth owner, have very few events that really require the premium license. I have a ton of events that require a basic license. And I always got annoyed when I had to spend on the premium licenses. If I need 20 licenses, I shouldn't need to buy 20 premium licenses. So as a photo booth company, I know what the bottom line is for events. I know what it costs me to run the company. And I also hate spending money on things that feel like a waste to me. So what we've done is we've designed a system that allows you to have as many different types of licenses as you want. So you could have 10 basic licenses, 2 pro and 1 premium license. So when we have something that pops you up into the next level, it's going to let you know before you do that. So for example, this requires premium because it's an AI video. I'm going to accept that. And now when I save it again, it will not make me do that. But this is to prevent you from on event day showing up, going to start your photo booth and saying, oh crap, I don't have that license. So now if we pop back over here and I refresh this, you'll see the items will have changed. Now we have AI video and AI image as an option, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Push this through. As I mentioned, we have the terms of service at the very end here, and now it's going to loop back up to the top. So that's going to go through a normal render just as we would in the advanced templates. So that is the breadth of this. We've really tried to simplify it so it's very straightforward. There's going to be some other things we do to it as we move forward in the next iteration, but we didn't want to hold this feature back until we release version 2.0. We thought we had just too many people asking for it. So this for me is the perfect type of thing for a private event or a very simple overlay for a corporate event. Does anyone have any questions on this at this point?
I
Yeah,
do.
Kayla, go for it.
I was actually just playing with this 30 minutes
Oh,
prior to logging in because I was like confused. I was like, what is this? Um, when I only have one output type, is there a way to get like the choose output type screen to not pop up and it just goes automatically into that?
yep. Great question. That's already in a ticket to be resolved.
Okay.
So what we try and do throughout the system is if there's no optionality, we skip that step.
Yeah.
If there is an option, we have it there. That is something that we did not catch in QA, and it will be removed. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you, Kayla. From a user perspective, as someone who had no idea what that new feature was it easy to use?
Yes.
Gotcha.
It was. I was a little confused because I was at first I was looking for a place to put my overlay because we're doing an AI. It's actually an event on Friday.
Mhm.
We are doing an AI image with an overlay on it. So I was looking for overlay at first, but I didn't have any of the event types selected. But as soon
Okay.
as you
Got it.
click it, it just like builds right out and it's
Yep.
super easy.
Yep. We also, as I mentioned last week, we're really working on our documentation. So we have now this video, which
Let's create a new
world
event
premiere.
workflow in
Just
Pictor.
kidding.
Start by
But
opening your Pictor
you'll
dashboard.
be able to have these
Click on
items
Create New
going
to begin
forward.
setting up your new event.
So I'm not going to
Enter
make
name for your
everyone sit through it now, but I will share that with everyone in the chat in a moment. Actually, I'll just do it now while I'm thinking about it. From Mitch, love you guys' attention to the UX UI. Seems like so many folks have no idea what that is, means, or how significantly it affects the user, photo booth owner's experience. Well, thank you for noticing. Interestingly, like I am very, very aware of UX UI and design. I come from a print design background originally, and the internet is really interestingly designed a lot like editorial design. So it's something I've always been tied into. Like you look at these structures and it really is set up like a newspaper, right? You have different places to catch people's attention. And the mistake that I made in our first version of this that I'll own is that my brain also works very differently than most other people's. So I designed things in ways that made sense to me. And like thinking back on that, the ego involved in that is very funny because like one of the things that Chris Breeze from Breeze before Steve took it over is like, I love Chris. He put things in the wackiest places. And I'd be like, hey, like, can your software do this? And he'd be like, yeah, of course. And you'd like have to look in some like broom closet on the other side of the room for it. And it was there. And the reason why it was there is because from a programmatic standpoint, it made complete sense, right?
And
So
then he's the engineer brain.
yes, exactly. So
Yes.
I'm like
He was a plane
sometimes,
engineer or something, he was like a rocket scientist.
of course he was. Of course he was. I love Chris. I miss Chris and Sue.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, they're the best. So sweet. And excited and eager. And like those are the kinds of things that we try and bring here is that excitement and the eagerness to kind of create and bring the whole community up with these cool tools, right? So as we're going back through, we've been doing user interviews, we've been having these show and tells, we're talking to you, we're looking at what people are saying in the support channels, etc. And trying to bring those features. And like, I wish I could show you the new UX UI. It's so amazing. We have so many features that are going to continue to do things that you didn't know photo booth software could or should do, and then also sort of the simple route as well. And that's what's really difficult is how do we create the thing, how do we reinvent what photo booth software is and still have customers because they don't know what these things do, right? Like AI video, AI images. AI is a great example. Like the reason that Pictor exists is because 4 years ago, we needed AI for an event. And I went to all of my favorite software providers and they didn't believe in it. And they said, you don't need that. And I said, we have literally clients clamoring for it. And that's how Pictor got built. We had one client that literally funded the initial MVP of Pictor, and then it's been off to the races since. So I also acknowledge that Outsnapped is different than every other photo booth company. So it's really important to us to hear what each of you need to make your lives easier. Like, and for those of you who've tuned in often, you'll hear me say, like, we really try and reduce the amount of clicks and things like that, because if you shave seconds off, it turns into minutes and hours over the span of time. So like one thing I'm really excited about in V2 is our simulator is going to be side by side with the build experience. And we're working on really cool ways where if you click a button here, you see it in real time on the right side happening. So like, you know what a title changes, you know what a subtitle changes, right? And that's something that just by clicking back and forth, you don't realize that's minutes a day. So really excited about that for our team at Outsnap too. And also like, I'm selfishly I have to spend less money building events on the OutSnap side if we have this functionality as well. So really thinking about those things. Before I open up to general questions, is there anything anyone else would like to see more about or ask questions about with this simple flow? Jim, Joe? Going once, going twice.
Looks pretty straightforward.
That's what we tried to do. And I will say in the past, I thought I've tried to do that before too, and I've totally missed the ball on it. So I'm happy to hear that feedback. At this point, I guess, does anyone have any general questions? I see Louis and Kalai here, and Kayla, Mitch, you're here. Rizaldi, did I pronounce that right? Feel free to turn on your microphones and blurt stuff out. It gets a little lonely up here.
What was your question, Nick?
Oh, just saying hi and
Oh.
asking if you had any questions.
One thing I'd like to see maybe in a future office hours, if you haven't already done this topic, is how you go about tuning your AI prompts. I think we're all kind of after some of the same things. We want it to still look like the person, not look like someone totally different, but put them in the new scene.
Yeah.
I wonder if you've got tips and techniques for how because you mentioned before that you spend a fair amount of time tuning things. Maybe you put in a couple of hours just trying different things. But I want to kind of see what kind of things you do during that process.
Yeah, 100%. So it is a very iterative and additive experience. And one of the reasons why we are cagey / helpful on these things is because you never really know what Pandora's box you're opening up with a prompt, right? So an example I always like to use is we had a client on the OutSnap side that was releasing a new product, and they were doing this at some big event in San Francisco. And in a sales call, they're like, "Oh, could you make the Golden Gate Bridge purple and yellow like our product?" And I stupidly said, "Yeah, no problem." And it took our team over 40 hours to get the Golden Gate Bridge to not be red. So it is a slippery slope in terms of like what works, and what may work one time may not work another time. So what I always like to try and do with it is really make it an additive process where you start as completely simple as possible and then add to it. Because there are going to be one thing that may be working, you may add one thing to it and it will break other parts of it. So there is not a one size fits all for these. One of the things that I love doing, and we can do one together now. Well, actually, before I do that, does anyone have any other questions? We have about 30 minutes and I'm happy to hop into this and just jam with you guys. But I do want to be clear, like, these prompts still take a lot of time. The simplest ones are very easy. When you start adding things and needing things to be just right, that's when they get a little bit trickier or a lot trickier. And I also find that, like I said, something that may work one time may not work the next time. But I do have kind of things that I've learned over time that for me have gotten me there faster. But so before I hop into that, does anyone have any other questions on anything else, either the regular template editor or any other parts of branding that we looked at last week? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Cool. Let us do this. So this is where I like to start. This is what I was going to say, this is what I call Perplexity, but it's also what everybody calls Perplexity. This is one of my LLMs of choice. I like Perplexity a lot because it has access to multiple models throughout. It will pick the best model and it will kind of fact check throughout. There's also something in here called Model Council, which isn't very expensive, but it's very cool because it's going to ask every model and then sort throughout these different things. So let's start with a prompt that I think let's try and build something that we can all use versus something that just one person on the team can use. So let's try something that's aesthetic based first. So I have been loving these sketches. I've done a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them that are in there as one clicks, but I think that they're just really beautiful. And I personally prefer these to the robot drawing. That's my 2 cents. The robot's very tactical. It's cool. To each their own. But is there an aesthetic that someone loves and we don't have a prompt for? And when I say aesthetic, I like to differentiate between, here, let me pull this up real quick. This is a little sneak peek into how we sell this at Outsnapped. But if I pull this up, this is a slide that I found to be, did we move this around? Oh, there it is. Download anyways. This is a slide that is less important now, but for the first 2-3 years we were selling AI, people got very confused about the subject matter and the aesthetic. So we built this slide, which if my internet ever loads it, I will show you. And so what I mean by that is you could have something that looks like a comic book and it could be a baseball player, it could be a soccer player, it could be a French horn player, right? So your subject is what's going on in the image or who's in the image. And then the aesthetic is what does it look like? Pop art, painting, etc. So I don't know why this is taking so long. But I would like to show you this slide because I think it's a real eureka moment for some folks. And it's a very easy slide to make as well. So it's just quite simply this. On the left, we have the aesthetic. So these are all a baseball player. One is photorealistic, one's a watercolor, one's a painting, one is a comic. On the right, we have this style, this aesthetic, and we have a baseball player, a firefighter, a chef, and an astronaut, right? So as we go into creating this prompt, is there a particular aesthetic that anyone's been loving and we don't have a prompt for? Mitch, what's something you can sell? You're on mute.
What about kind of like the whole K-pop vibe?
Okay.
Because
let's
Oh,
that's
yeah,
super
that's a
popular
good
right now
one.
with my girls, at least.
And we actually did one of those not too long ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you say K-pop vibe,
Like, I don't
Demon
know how
Hunters.
K-pop
Like,
Demon Hunter, but it would be more of like
is
I
it
don't
like
even
a
know.
this? Is this what you're looking for, or is it
yeah,
okay?
Yeah. I don't know what you would call that though.
Yeah, let
But I
me.
know who does know. AI knows.
Yeah, right.
What is this? Also, how do I create this?
Yeah, let's see. Um, okay. So for those of you who are new to the call, I talk to my computer a lot. I do this weird thing where I close my eyes and kind of trail off. I have a plugin that I absolutely love. I'll share a link to it called Whisperflow, and it allows me to just blab. So, hey, I am trying to create a AI generative image and or video prompt that's in this aesthetic. Before I dive into designing the prompt itself, can you tell me what this aesthetic is called? I know it's like K-pop and Demon Hunter, but what is the aesthetic style called? Are there particular illustrators we should reference? And the other thing that I love about AI, we don't really need to do that. So for some reason, it has taken over my computer to type in that prompt for me, but which is very silly. So I'm going to stop that and just type it in myself. And they have this new tool called Computer, which they're really pushing, which I don't want to use. But what I can do is use social and academic as sources because someone may have already tried to do something like this and have the whole Reddit thread about it. So let's go ahead and now try that again. Great. We don't need computer. For those of you who haven't played with Perplexity, computer is really, really cool. We have it doing some of our support documentation by going in and literally trying to follow our old support documentation to see what works and doesn't work. We have so many docs and there's so few of us, so trying to get everything up to speed, it's been helpful. Cool. So the aesthetic is a visual style from the 2025 animated film K-pop Demon Hunters featuring da. It blends high fashion K-pop. The style draws from the poster captures da. For AI problems reference K-pop. Okay.
What about, so I was doing a search. It said stylized anime inspired 3D K-pop / game cinematic style.
Can you cut and paste that into the chat? We'll
I did.
try it.
I got you.
Great. Thank you.
We'll see if it does anything.
Well, we can also pop over here now into our custom AI prompts, and we can just start, like I said, with like the simplest. So we'll just start with what Kayla shared. Let's select a test image. And you'll see we have different aspect ratios you can test now too. You're going to start to see a lot of our new features dripping out, and the design is not perfect on them. We're spending the time on getting the design perfect or as close to humanly possibly perfect as possible in the new release, but we didn't want to hold back these features. So let's do one by one here. And you will note when you output things in different sizes, you are going to get variation. So a prompt may work really, really well in one by one and not as well in another. Okay, so while that's rendering out, let's pop back over here and say, we also found this, so please use this as well. My goal is to be able to upload any selfie and have it restyle that person in the selfie or the group of people in the selfie to look and feel like something out of K-pop Demon Hunters. Can you give me a prompt that would do that? I want to be able to make it reusable, so we can't describe the body type or the facial features of the person in the image, but I would like you to make sure that we retain those features from the uploaded selfie. And also, I haven't seen the movie myself yet, so I don't know where it takes place or anything like that. But if you could include descriptions of the backgrounds that should also be in the foregrounds that should also be in these images without infringing on any copyright, that would be great. And so once again, the reason I like being able to dictate and AI being able to parse my crazy brain is because I can blab and blab and blab all those ideas and connect them as it's going, and it makes sense of them. Okay. So if we weren't on a call, I would read this and make some changes to it possibly, but for the sake of doing this, let's pop back in.
So Whisper Flow's role here was just to
the dictation.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Cool.
So for some reason, it did not pick up that last prompt. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and generate again. Ta-da. Okay, so this looks great, but no one looks like us in it. And then there's multiple people, etc. But I would say we nailed the aesthetic. So I'm going to go back over here and say, you really nailed the aesthetic, but I do not see the person we have uploaded the selfie of in these images anywhere. Can you please make sure, let's start simple. Instead of having a possibility of a group, let's just keep it one person and make sure that the uploaded selfie, so the reference images of me look like me. And so Louis, to answer your question, this is what it looks like. And there is no silver bullet, unfortunately. So once I start getting something that I like, then I start attacking that piece and moving around and trying to get the other parts to work the way I want. So I'm going to try running this through once more. And then while this is going, I'm going to read this. So use the uploaded selfie as the only identity reference. Keep the exact same face, facial structure, skin tone, hairline, age, and body proportions as the selfie. Do not change or beautify the face. Do not slim or reshape the body. Do not change the expression unless I explicitly, let's just remove this. I'm going to say remove that part about the texture as well, because we do want them to be redone. Transform this person into a stylized anime-inspired 3D character in a K-pop game. So this is a lot closer already, right? Looks really cool. High-end K-pop idol demon hunter outfit, fitted crop jacket, layered belts. Give them a sleek, saturated color palette with neon accents. But so, for example, if we wanted to do a particular color, you're working with a company and they're orange accents. Glossy and iridescent fabrics, subtle metallics, armor panels or shoulders and arms, and a single elegant glowing, I don't like weapon, so let's make it a microphone. Without copying any specific movie weapon designs. Once again, I haven't seen the movie, so that's probably why they're referencing weapons. The scene is a cinematic K-pop concert stage in a futuristic Seoul at night. Our event actually is in New York City, or let's do San Francisco. I referenced that earlier. So let's put it in. Abstract neon skyline. Neon city skyline, holographic billboards with, what's an orange brand? Orange, Fanta logos on them. Distant tower silhouettes and soft bokeh lights in the background. No text in the image. And you'll see these things that I'm removing here where it just said Facebook. It actually found references on Facebook of someone who was playing with this prompt, and that's why it's giving it to us. Full body hero shot, render. Okay, cool. Now let's generate that and see what happens next. For now, what we can do is use this prompt, and I will reference an existing image here. So we'll do Diet Coke. And I'm just going to say Fanta here and say with Diet Coke bottles on them. Let's call them dancing. Okay. And I'm going to go back up here and with orange saturated color palette with neon orange and the sleek color palette with neon orange accents. I want the whole outfit to be out. I can never spell this word, iridescent. And let's see what that does for us. And let's also, we can grab, let's see what it does to me. And so that's the other thing, Louis, as you're doing this, you're going to want to try it with different people of different shapes and sizes. So one of the other really cool features we have coming is you'll be able to select multiple models. And when I say models, I don't mean like the LLM, I mean literally people, and try it on them in different sizes. So let's see what we got. Well, there I am. We didn't get the iridescence, but that's great. We do have the Coke bottles in the background, and I am on the Golden Gate Bridge here. So, very cool stuff. So let's try, for the sake of this Golden Gate Bridge, let's do Brooklyn Bridge, and let's move it to New York City.
Those thigh-high boots, though.
Thank you.
Wow.
I've been working on
You're-
those quite some
You're
time.
pulling them off.
Thank you. But you'll see it's also referenced my hands and here how I have them up. So different things there. So with the things that are a little bit more fantastical than photorealistic, you have more latitude for this. And that's one of the reasons why I've always liked going into different aesthetics. Is historically it was like, I'm a photographer, so I can make something look photorealistic already. I really want to try doing something I wouldn't be able to do otherwise. So here we go. So you get an idea for the things that are possible with this. You'll note here, this is something that I'm going to open this up, and let's open these side by side. So in this first version, my characterization looks more correct. In this second version, it looks way more like my face has just been stuck on this. And you watched, all I did was change the location essentially. And that change happened. So what I can do is take this back over here and say, above is a prompt that's been working really well for me, but for some people, they look like their face is just being cut and pasted into the graphic. Can we make sure to describe and ensure that the aesthetic of that K-pop character is throughout the entire image? Every piece and particle of it should look that way. And that's another way to play with these. So with the LLMs, I just sort of tell it what I want, and then I will go back and try and change the little details. So as this is rendering out, do we have any additional questions? Or Louis, was there a follow-up to what we looked at just now?
If I can stop coughing, I've got one.
Okay.
Is there a good way to, let's say you've got kind of that ideal background and we don't want it to change. We don't want AI to recreate and change that for every single photo. We
Yeah.
want largely to be either identical or nearly identical in every photo we take during the evening or during the event.
Yes.
Is there a way to make that happen, or like is that best handled by creating like the character without a background and placing them onto
Yeah.
a
There-
pre-created background?
There are two ways to handle it. I always like to break things out into 2 degrees, right? So if there's something that you need to be exact, you don't want to use AI for it, at least not yet. So in that case, say you have a branded background and it needs to be 150% that every single time, you can create this image, and I'll show you this in a moment, and you can use the background removal tool and put it on any background you want. So there's that. The next thing you can do is we have this Oscars presenter background here. And what I'm going to now do is this is called Oscar Presenter. And it's a background that looks like the Oscars that we upload at a different time. And I'm going to experiment with saying in this is great. Instead of having a background, I want to give you a reference image. The file name is called Oscar Presenter. And I want you to use that as the background. And if I wasn't on this call, I would go through and actually do this manually, but for the sake of having this as quick as possible. While that's happening, I just want to show you one of these. So here, let's see, we had one that went to Facebook. We can actually see what this referenced on Facebook. And this is going to locations from the actual movie. It's pulling them. So that's where it got that reference and described that aesthetic, which I think is really fascinating to go down some of those rabbit holes as well. Okay, so let's go to this. Let's go back here. Once again, I should read this. I'm going to add in the Oscar presenter. Let's generate that image. And then let's select another test image. And when that renders through, we'll try this next one with Eve and see if it pops up with the same or similar background. It should.
Hey, while we're waiting for this to render out, Nick, I just would like to commend you on the quality of your presentations and your webinars here. They're
Oh, thank you.
so much, like so useful. So this is the kind of thing we can apply, immediately.
Thank you.
And I kind of wish I hadn't seen that photo though.
Well, you can apply those boosts yourself immediately. So let's try rendering that through one more time with Eve, and then I'll show you how to do the background removal. But thank you, Mitch. That means a lot. As we work on these every week, it's really hard to try and find the thing that is going to be useful and helpful for everyone. And I do encourage you, if you have parts of Pictor that you would like to know more about, not only would I love to show you, but it would make my life actually easier because I can prepare a demo around that versus trying to come up with an idea each week. So there you go. This is an example of very similar but not exact background. I do think that Eve looks better in these boots, though HR may get upset with me for saying that. But nonetheless, that is how you would do a similar background where you're going to use a reference image to get essentially the same thing every time. I'm going to go ahead and use this version. Actually, no, let me use this version. So in here, this is something that people may not know. You can select a thumbnail and you can use this prompt as your use case. So I could, for example, use this thumbnail, but this prompt moving forward. Does that make sense, everyone?
And the thumbnail isn't part of the AI generation. It's just a reference image for us as humans, right?
Reference image for you as humans. And if you use that simple flow example with the with multiple options, they would be able to choose visually from those options. So that thumbnail is customer facing, but mostly internally. So let's go ahead and use this prompt, save this, and let's bounce back over here. And for this, this is actually a great example of something you cannot do in the simple flow that we just released. So let's call this background removal. I can't type, but we're just going to go for it. And I'm going to go to my choose experience. I'm going to delete everything we don't need here, just so as we're testing it, can go through quickly. So I'm going to go into my template editor. I'm going to go to add template. I'm going to create a template. And let's find just a K-pop Demon Hunter wallpaper with no one. Sure. Maybe not what I would have chosen, but it's very low res. Okay. Let's just use this for the sake of. I'm going to save this as, and let's bounce back over here. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and add my image. I'm going to upload that image that we just grabbed, and that's going to be my reoccurring background image every single time. And
You're now demonstrating the second way of doing this, right?
yes, the first way I described, but I'm showing you a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
similar to if I were to just take a photo now of myself and I chose to add an effect to this, which is remove background. And we'll call this still background removal. Save that. Once again, mentioning this premium background removal is a pro feature. It's not available in basic. So saving that, going over here to my simulator, I'm going to take a photo. It's going to remove my background and put me on that image. Ta-da! No surprises there. So what gets really cool is we can duplicate this now. Edit this, and let's call this AI output background. Let's take this initial capture. I'm going to go 1-1 on it. And just because that's what we tested. So I wanted to see if I can get as close to our test as possible. I'm going to remove the background removal from the capture. I'm going to add image to this. I'm going to select my prompt. I'm going to go to my custom prompts. I'm going to select my K-pop prompt that we made. I'm going to make one output for now. And I'm going to hide the original. And I'm going to put this here. Okay. And I'm going to now to this add remove background.
Mhm.
I would make the prompt slightly different if I was doing this because there was a lot going on with like, neon stuff. So this is going to give our background removal tool a little bit of a run for its money. I'm going to save this. I'm going to go back into preview. Now we have two, so I'm going to do the AI output. And while that's rendering, I'm going to show you where this gets kicked up a notch. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. And what I have used this technique for is when I'm making a collectible card and I want to show someone who's a baseball player in multiple poses. I can go back to my layers, go to my hidden layer, capture, and now I can add 4 outputs. And for each of these outputs, I can do the same thing where I remove the background. Maybe because I duplicated. There it is. I'm selecting the wrong thing. Remove the background. And then remove the background again. So now what I have essentially done is created 4 outputs of myself in theory that I can layer around myself. And I don't know what this is going to create yet. So let's try it. Save changes. And let's try this one more time. So I'm going to take one selfie here. I'm going to finish this. And while that's rendering, let's go back and look at that first one and see what kind of mess we made. Oh, here it is. So this is the first one with the cutout that's going to have the same background always. Pretty scary. Those boots are really going to become my new signature. And then you'll see I'm cut out in different ways. And if I were to use this technique, I would want to make sure I had more of an idea of where and how the person was going to be standing each time so I can put them together. And I may put some sort of randomization in. So I say striking a different pose or like a random pose, choose from XYZ. So when I have those together, I will get variations. And so also, to me, this blows my mind. When we first started doing this, we were looking at like 2-3 minutes for a render. In 33 seconds, we not only uploaded the photo, rendered out 4 different ones, cut out the backgrounds, and then composited them. Like, to me, that's mind-blowing. So here is how we have created this with one selfie and then different ways to play with this. So using this output, now I can go back because I'm going to kind of guesstimate what we're going to get each time. And this is where like you got to bring your imagination back into this, but going back into the flow, let's do one more of these. Let's duplicate. Let's edit this. And I'm going to kind of like bounce back between these screens. And I'm going to make this sort of half height, this half height. I want a little bit of variation. I'm going to go back and find my little guy. Let's bring this up over here and let's like put it all the way on the side. Save these changes. And something else that's really cool that you may not have realized we released is say we've been playing with this. We have 85 versions of it. We don't know which one we're definitely going to keep. You end up with that meme of like underscore final 3. You can now just toggle these on and off, so you don't have to remove them from your event. And this is going to be our grand finale. So drum roll for this. Well, I don't want to make too much of a silly face, so let's render that. And while we're waiting for that render to come through, do we have any closing questions or thoughts? Or any requests for next week's show and tell? Did I have 3 arms in one of those? Just like
Yeah,
real
the bottom left, you had like your arms folded, and then there was like another one coming out right here.
Hey, Nikki, I don't know if I missed it. Did you guys ever do the one with the animals?
The one with the animals. Oh, no, we didn't, but that's actually a really great idea. So let's for next week do a event that we'll build where people upload photos of their pets and cool things happen to their pets.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Cool. Sounds good. Thank you
Yeah,
for
I
that.
like that.
Yeah, I think it's really fun. And I think it also goes to show so many of us think about the physical photo booth, and we're doing so many more events these days that it's directly on individuals' own devices via QR code, etc. Okay, and let's see. So here you'll see I started getting better positioning on these, but I would probably go back in and try and really get the positions and the clothing and the things the way I wanted them to be. So cool. I got nothing else to share. So other than just thanking everybody, I'm going to take this wonderful image of me off the screen. Just thank you as always for everyone taking time out of their busy week to come join us and ask questions and participate. It's nice to see some new faces here. It's nice to see some of the same faces. And please do, if you have questions that come up throughout the week, please do hit the support chat. I'm going to share one more time in the chat here the link to our new support documentation for the new feature. You guys got the exclusive on the cool song that's not going to be released. But there is a second version of it. So after I say bye, I'll play it out. And if anyone wants to stick around and hear it, they're welcome to. I've heard it a bunch. But once again, if any questions come up, please, you know where to find us. Any feature requests, please. We really, really, really appreciate those. So as I always say, I can't wait to see what you all create. Oh, one last thing. If you are creating something cool and you are proud of it, please share it in the Facebook group. We have a token fairy that will drop some tokens into your account if you share some really neat stuff on Facebook. So please do. I think it is a product that requires a lot of imagination to really use it at its fullest potential. So I think a lot of people don't even realize what's actually possible. So please do share. I think the community would really love to see them. So I know I would as well. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful week. And as always, I can't wait to see what you create.
Thanks, Nicholas.
Awesome. Thank you.
Everyone. And I wasn't joking about that second song. So if you want to hear it.
Oh, I'm hanging up.
Choosing your experience. Simple mode versus template editor. Learn how to configure your photo booth experience using simple mode or template editor in the choose experience stage of your event workflow. When setting up an event in Pictor, you'll choose how you want to configure the photo booth experience. This is done through the choose experience stage in your event workflow. And it's where you decide between two approaches, simple mode and template editor.
Y'all are good sports. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.